This is Diaspora Network Television. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and this is an abbreviated edition of Diaspora Weekly. So with me today is lawyer Safo Abebrese, president of Coalition of Supporters Union of Africa, COSUA, the group that's continent strong. They're present in every African country, and they're looking to use support of football to unite the continent. They've been recognized by African Union, and in fact, contract. They have a professional relationship with the African Union. Lawyer, welcome.
Thank you very much, Jermaine.
All right. Your mantra is unity for continent, which we all stand for. But it looks like 4 days ago in Morocco, the African unity took a step back. Tell us about that.
Well, it is something that has taken the whole continent and even the whole world by storm. We are all in a state of shock that one African country can turn, against the brothers and sisters from the same homeland in a way, in the manner in which it happened in Melilla in Morocco. We woke up 3 days ago to hear of the sad news of the death of the massacre of about over 50 African migrants that were trying to cross the border from Melilla into Spain. And the Moroccan authorities, sought to prevent them, but they decided to go to the ultimate in stopping someone, by just taking their lives in a very gruesome, incident that has taken everybody by shock. The videos are there. The pictures have made, have gone viral.
And right. By your knowledge, do you know how many people, the number of casualties?
Well, the death toll continues to rise. I mean, from our information, we have over 200 people that are in critical condition, and we understand that over 50 people have already died, and the situation continues to be aggravated. And we are very worried because we even understand that in trying to cover their tracks, they even want to do mass burial of the dead,
Wow.
so that, secret graves. And so that the actual toll cannot be, calculated.
Let me get here. We know when something like this happens, you can't help but look at it through racial lenses. We know that those countries in the northern part of Africa, they are Arabic in appearance. They are not Black Africans, okay?
Yes.
And indeed, we have spoken to Africans who school there in Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, and they report to us that those people, they refer to them, you Africans.
Yes.
Do you believe that those people identify more with Africa, or do they identify more with Middle East?
Well, traditionally, Morocco in particular has been a very difficult, permutation when it comes to these issues of the racial segregation in terms of their relationship with Africa. If you remember, Morocco was even out of the African Union for 33, 34 years, since 1984. They actually, they would say they opted out of the African Union, but they were actually ostracized from the African Union. We all know about the Sahrawi issues and all that, which I wouldn't want to go into. But we have a very brilliant, well-educated, modern leader in the person of, King Mohammed VI, who ascended the throne from his father, King Hassan. And to his credit, from the time, since 2017, that he rolled Morocco back into the African Union, this this prince of a ruler has been the epitome of Pan-Africanism, if I can.
Okay, and this is where I stop you right there. To me, to DNT, that's not enough for officials of the Moroccan government to see that, to see it fit to attack and massacre, in your word. The condition might have been established to make that a conducive behavior, because if he is Pan-African, as you say, and if he touts Pan-Africanism, why would officials in this government treat fellow Africans like that?
Okay, so we have come out with a press release, and if you look at paragraph 5 of our press release, we are saying that we do not want to believe that this incident happened with the full backing of the government, but we're asking them to prove us right or wrong on that, because it is a shock to us. You see, King Mohammed has come out now to say that, look, my father, King Hassan, despite everything that was happening, spent about 20 years trying to bid for the hosting of the World Cup on Moroccan soil as an African nation. Every time that they've made a bid as Africa, okay, on the ticket of CAF. And this year, he has already instructed his FA to put in another bid. They've been running every 4 years, they come up, with a bid to host the World Cup. This is their best year to win that bid to host the World Cup in Africa. Their best year in the sense that everything is in place. They've built over 15 modern world-class stadia in Morocco. As I'm talking to you now, tomorrow they are kicking off the Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. And these are interventions, these are, situations that compel you to think that Morocco, in terms of sports alone, okay, you see Morocco as a giant of Pan-Africanism and African. Morocco has qualified for the World Cup as an African nation.
You are a COSUA head, okay? You're looking to unite Africa through the support of football. Yeah. He can make all the investments, 15 stadia, world class. To some of us, quite frankly, we are not impressed unless you start to treat your fellow human beings, regardless of whether they're Africans or any race, with dignity. To some of us, if you don't do that, or you can plaster the whole street of Morocco with gold, we're not impressed. And so for you, why do you think these things continue to happen on the continent at the time that you are talking about African unity? You hear incidents of xenophobia in South Africa, and then we hear this thing happen in Morocco, and our African leaders are silent. Faki, African Union Commission chair, just issued a statement. But according to your press release, it stopped way short of what was expected of them. What do you think to happen for people, African leaders, to stand up when their citizens are being maltreated like that? Not only in Morocco, but around the world.
Yes, it is up to them. But honestly, this is something that we have been bemoaning all along, that the African Union that we have now definitely has lost a lot of bite, has lost a lot of its identity. Compare this African Union to the time that we had the Kwame Nkrumahs of this world. We have, all these Pan-African leaders that were there and fighting, for African unity. At that time, even, the so-called Arab African countries, you can name them, Anwar Sadat and all of them, were clearly and strongly identifying with Africa. The African Union at the moment, I'm surprised that many heads of states of Africa are not coming out the way COSUA is coming out. We're not hearing them telling Morocco that, look, you cannot do this. Your citizens are being killed, and in such a, if you watch the video, you wonder whether they thought they were dealing with rats. They were dealing with rats or human beings.
Yes.
So we expect that the African Union, even individually, the heads of states, have to be up and doing and let Morocco understand that if you consider yourself as an African nation, okay, then you better, identify with us in a way that we see equality in terms of, mutual respect and identity in terms of being African. Here is the situation where, as I said, Morocco has been doing everything to attract us, to be in partnership with them, in terms of, the sport. You are 2 days, 3 days from hosting the African Cup of Nations, the women version of the African Cup of Nations. As I speak to you now, 11 other countries are in Morocco, and they're expecting to kickstart the tournament tomorrow. And how if our members in those countries, of course, we've told all our members in those countries, don't even travel to Morocco. Boycott the Women's African Cup of Nations. And we're carrying the boycott all the way, okay, because we believe that we are in a position to make Morocco, feel the bite of the African venom.
That's fine.
Okay, because with all the investments that they've made to host the World Cup, they cannot make the bid for the World Cup as a European nation. They are African.
Well, I'm coming to that. If these countries, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, by virtue of their skin pigmentation, okay, feel like they're not Africans. And we know this because they point to darker skinned people and say, oh, you Africans. We know this for sure. If they don't consider themselves Africans, what should we consider? Should we continue to keep them in CAF, or is it time to jettison them off so they can join the Middle East where they are comfortable?
My brother, we are talking of African unity, and we're talking of the unity of all the country, the 55 countries, as a whole. Okay, and every effort is being made for us to keep them with us as Africans, because
but they don't want to be with you. How many times do they need to tell you that we're not like you, we're not like you, we're not part of you? I mean, they're killing your people as we speak. They are selling Africans as slaves in Libya. At what point do we Africans say, you know what, we realize that you guys are different from us. Maybe you should go and join Middle East. What do we have to lose?
Well, a whole lot, because if you want continental unity, we have to try and work at it, and we have to try to make things work in terms of getting them to be part of us, because that is the way it is. That is the way the African Union structure is. So we should rather be working at getting those 5-6 countries.
Lawyer, are you married? Are you married right now?
I'm divorced.
Okay, you're divorced. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm sorry about this. I didn't know this, but I wanted to make this analogy. If you're with a woman and the woman tells you in so many ways that I don't want to be with you, why do you continue to hold on to a unity? It takes two to tango. Why do you continue to hold on to a unity that the other party doesn't want to be a part of?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That if you look at the history of the African Union, okay, I mentioned Anwar Sadat. I mentioned even the grandfather of King Hassan and King Mohammed of Morocco. You know how much Egypt contributed to the Pan-Africanist struggle.
That's fine. That's history.
Yes, that's history. But then they are not putting out politically. They are not putting out anything.
No, today's trend. I'm worried. I'm talking about the trend today. I don't care if you, again, back to the wife or marriage issue. If you're married to someone, you build them mansions after mansions, and you start to mistreat them today, they have the right to say, you know what, I've had enough. And the reason why I'm going down this road is this. Look, based on their current behavior, what they've done to people who look like you and I in Morocco today, kill them like rats. And we've seen the video. The video is playing right now, okay?
Yeah.
And when you see that in Libya, they're selling black people as slaves in 2022. Okay? And we know that students who attend college in Algeria and all those countries, when they're dealing with their friends, they call, oh, you Africans. I mean, at what point do we say, yes, we get it. You're not Africans. You identify more with Middle East. The Sahara is a very, very good barrier, right? Go. We'll be Africans. I mean, don't you think it's gotten to that point?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. If you go by the popular parlance in the streets, ordinary citizens see you, they say, hey, you are Africa. I remember when I was in exile in South Africa, I was taken aback when I learned that, I mean, when they see you, they will ask you, oh, so when you were coming from Africa, how was Africa? You know, but you know you are in Johannesburg, and you know you are in Africa. But that is what, you know, your fellow, I mean, even that one, it's even your own fellow black guys like yourself that will ask you that kind of question. It is something that you find in the streets all along. We want to deal with the political structures that are there. And we are not, so far, we are not seeing any indication from any of these political leaders. I mean, as I told you, I mean, historically, they have also fought for Pan-Africanism as much as the Kwame Nkrumahs of the Black African.
Well, yes, I remember the Casablanca group. Morocco
yes.
was a good part of it. But exactly. I subscribe to Janet Jackson's song, What Have You Done to Me Lately?
We think we should rather look at getting, I mean, them, okay, to see eye to eye with us and repair the damaged bridges and all that and move on.
All right. So let me move on to your press statement. Why are you calling for the boycott?
We're calling for the boycott, first of all, is because of safety. Because of what is going on right now, and in the heat of it like this, when there's public outroar in all over the world, I don't think it is wise for big crowds of Africans, okay, to troop to Morocco right now and enter the stadia to say that, hey, we're going to cheer our countries. I mean, South Africa is there, Nigeria is there, you know, Botswana is there, Senegal is there, Burkina Faso is there, all these teams. And they actually playing, you know, for qualification to the Women's World Cup in Australia next year. If we let our members from these countries, you know, board a flight and enter Morocco in the heat of what has happened right now, we cannot guarantee the safety of anyone. Okay. So that is why, first of all, we're saying that, look, all our members in all these various countries, stay back in your countries, watch the games on TV. We do not know how it's going to pan out, you know, but we have to, stay back and watch and see how it goes. We want certain things to be done. First of all, we want Faki Musa Mahamat. For the first time, I think, let's commend him, you know, for the boldness in issuing the statement that he did issue. Okay, but we believe that he should have gone a bit further to say that, hey, in the meantime, as all the all the investigations are going on, can you please step down from your AU seat, you know, for now, you know, so that we go into it. So he should.
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, you are not only calling for the boycott of support of Morocco in their bid to host World Cup 2030. You are calling for their suspension from the African Union.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. For now. Okay, because you know, I mean, when things like this happen, you need to do that which will make the offender take note. And Morocco has fought very, very hard. They were in the wilderness for 33 years, and they had fought very hard to be back as an AU member state. Okay, they only regained their seat at the AU in 2017. Okay, and they are protecting that. They are doing everything that they can to show that they are truly African. They want to do, you know, an African World Cup. they are representing Africa in the FIFA World Cup that is coming off this year. In terms of sport, they are with us. They've been hosting so many tournaments, and they are hosting the Women's African Cup of Nations, tomorrow. So when you see all the efforts that they are making, you know that if you give them the sport nudge, definitely they're gonna take note, because they've spent billions of dollars to build this bid for this World Cup.
All right. So
okay.
in your opinion, what does King Mohammed need to do to make things right, to avert the suspension that you're calling for?
Exactly. That has been clearly spelled out. We say that we give him the benefit of the doubt, that it all happened at his blind side. We want him to come clear, get the offenders and punish them. Get them to face the full rigors of Moroccan law, and let the whole world see that this was done at the blind side of King Mohammed, and this is the action that he has taken. And then he has to come forth, apologize to the rest of the continent, and offer reparations. Compensation to the bereaved families and the bereaved nations. Then we know that, he is walking the talk of Pan-Africanism.
Okay, so you are a lawyer. Are you talking about arbitrarily setting up compensation, or should the African court in Tanzania make that decision? Should AU take Morocco to the African court over this issue?
Well, that is up to the AU leadership to consider.
Would you call for that? You call for their suspension. Would you also call that they be taken to the African Union Court in Tanzania?
If the suspension comes and we follow through with the boycotts, and still we're not seeing any kind of regret on the part of Morocco, then maybe that will be an ultimate step that the AU can consider taking. Okay, finally, we believe that for now, we believe that we are going to hear positively from the Kingdom of Morocco.
So they're going to put the design for COSUA for World Cup in Qatar on right now, but you said in your press release you are going to redesign that logo to take out the flag of Morocco. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you finished that design yet, or are you still in the works?
Well, we are in a long weekend here in the United States, and that logo was designed for us here in the United States. The t-shirts, our t-shirts for the World Cup for Africa, are being designed and printed here in the United States, and we have already sent the instructions for the change to be done. But as I said, it's a long weekend here. From Tuesday, when we get back to work, if we have not heard anything positive, yes, we're definitely going ahead to amend the design and take out the Moroccan flag. Okay.
I also know, we're also aware that you are planning to send 1,000 supporters from each of the 5 qualified African countries.
Exactly.
And you are going to fly people from West Africa, from Accra to Qatar, from North Africa, from Tunis to Qatar and back.
Exactly.
The East, from Addis Ababa to Qatar and back, from South from Johannesburg. So is it our understanding that the supporters, the 1,000 supporters that you were looking to fly from Morocco, now that's off the table?
Yes, for now that's off the table, because we're suspending them. We're suspending every, a kind of interaction, but the suspension from the COSUA perspective is temporary. We're watching to see what happens if Morocco does the needful, and gets back the way that we have indicated. And if they stop the plan to, do mass burial of those people that they've murdered, secretly, and their relatives don't even get a chance to get the bodies and give them a fitting burial and all that, then we are going to go on and do whatever we need to do to also register our protests. That
you mentioned there are plans for mass burial. It's one thing to massacre African migrants. The audacity to say that you're not even going to put things in place to allow people to identify their dead and the audacity to arbitrarily and unilaterally decide that, okay, whether these people are from Congo, from Ghana, from Nigeria, we don't care. We're just going to bury all of them in a mass burial. And that decision was taken by the Moroccan authority. And you think all these things, you think all these things happen without the knowing of the King Mohammed?
It is our ears on the ground that pick, those informations. For the Moroccan authorities haven't announced that they are going to mass burial. But we understand that if Africa doesn't rise up quickly, if our leaders are not very quick about it, that is exactly what is going to happen. Because we know of graves that have already been dug, for the purpose. And I'll try and see if I can send some of the footages to you. So if we are not,
we have it. We have the footage. Yes.
Good. So we don't want. If that happens, then it shows that our worst fears have come true, and then we may have then go all out and say that, okay, Morocco, you've been part of the AU, you've been back in the AU for the past 5 years, but we see that maybe you go out of the AU for longer than the 33 years that you were out there, that you didn't belong to any institutional structure in the world, because they cannot be part of Europe no matter what they do. They are so close to Spain and Portugal, but they cannot. They identify
with the Middle East. Why can't they be a part of the Middle East?
Well, maybe if that is what they want, they can do that. But if you
Suriname is physically located on the continent of South America, and yet they identify with the Caribbean community. And so these days, regardless where you're physically located, where you align the most is where you go. And I think from where I sit right now, it looks like, and don't get me wrong, I am not the one that's saying that, oh, they should go. Based on their action over a long period of time, it is clear to me that they identify more with Middle East. Their relationship with the Middle East is far more important to them than their relationship with Africa. And so why are we holding on to this marriage? That's my thing. But we have to end it here. Thank you, Lawyer Safo Abebresa, President of COSUA, Coalition of Supporters Union of Africa. Anytime you need our support, we're here to help.
Thank you very much, too.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you.